Lieutenant Colonel M.A. Einseidler, Commanding Officer, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, will now address the audience.
Colonel and Mrs. Smith, Colonel Guerin, Lieutenant Colonel Miller, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for being here today to share in this special day in the lives of our graduating Marines. Since their arrival here almost 3 months ago, the young men of Echo Company have been addressed as private or as recruit. Not once have they been addressed as a Marine. This morning, there are 286 young men who have demonstrated they're capable and worthy of carrying on the proud legacy and traditions provided to them by the thousands of Marines who have served this country and our Corps since 1775. As their battalion commander, I am privileged and honored to be the first to officially address them as United States Marines. Good morning, Echo Company. Good morning, Marines. Many have traveled great distances to be here to participate in this graduation ceremony. As parents and loved ones, I know that you share in these young men's sense of accomplishment and sense of pride as well as you should. For much of the success that they have achieved here in recruit training is a result of the basic values, character, and moral fiber that you've instilled in them. The mission of the Marine Corps Recruit Depot is making Marines. You have provided us with that basic ingredient in which to accomplish our mission, and we thank you. We appreciate your support, we appreciate your sacrifice, and we appreciate your presence here today. If there is one thing that distinguishes United States Marine Corps from the other armed forces of the world, it is our recruit training. As many of you have read in letters received in recent months, the persons most responsible for conducting that training are the drill instructors. Ladies and gentlemen, I assure you that the drill instructors from Echo Company have performed magnificently in training your Marine, and show him appreciation by thanking him. To the wives, families, and loved ones of the drill instructors and officers from Echo Company that are with us this morning, I want to thank you for your continued support. These young men receive the training that they so rightly deserve because of your support. I encourage you to take advantage of this short break in the training cycle and reacquaint yourself with your Marine. To the families and friends of the graduating Marines, immediately following this morning's final dismissal, you'll be greeting your Marine for the first time. And I think you'll notice some changes in him, and I'm sure that you agree with me that they're for the better. He will appear somewhat older, somewhat taller. He's undoubtedly in the best physical condition of his life, and if I can steal or borrow some words from my fellow battalion commander, he will now be sporting a jazzy new haircut. Your Marine should exude confidence. Confidence that comes from successfully completing Marine Corps recruit training. You should sense pride, deep pride in your Marine for earning the title United States Marine. With that Eagle Globe and Anchor that your young man now wears, he will be recognized worldwide as one of the finest fighting men that this nation can field. With that recognition comes special privileges and responsibilities. First and foremost, he is now responsible to his country. He must be prepared at all times to answer her call, and as a member of the elite 911 force, undertake the most difficult and demanding missions and succeed. He is also responsible to his fellow Marines, past, present, and future, not to fail them. Ladies and gentlemen, the young men graduating today are prepared to accept those responsibilities. To the graduating Marines of Echo Company, I extend to you my heartfelt congratulations on a job well done. Allow me to be first to welcome you and your family into our Marine Corps. To each and every one of you, I wish you continued success, Godspeed, and Semper Fidelis.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Marine Corps Recruit Depot and the graduation parade of Company E, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion. Following the pass and review, the graduating Marines will return front and center of the reviewing stand for final dismissal. The staff for today's parade is comprised of Marines from the Recruit Training Regiment. The commanding officer of troops is Major T.A. Gerke, Executive Officer, 1st Recruit Training Battalion. The parade adjutant is Captain S.E. Reynolds, Adjutant, Recruit Training Regiment. Marching in today's parade are the 286 graduating Marines from Company E. Recruit training comprises subjects required to produce basic Marines who function effectively in garrison, are trained in rudimentary individual field and combat skills, and practice the personal and professional traits which distinguish them as Marines. Examples of these traits are discipline, the achievement of a state of discipline which assures respect for authority, instant willing obedience to orders, and the self-reliance to maintain or improve those traits which exemplify a Marine. Military bearing, consistently demonstrating military presence and personal awareness, as well as the proper wearing and maintenance of uniforms. Esprit de corps, acquiring the common spirit of the Marine Corps that inspires enthusiasm, devotion, pride, initiative, teamwork, aggressiveness, determination, moral integrity, camaraderie, and the burning desire to work with and for others towards excellence in common goals. For the Marines of Company E, today marks the end of the 12-week recruit training cycle. These young men have qualified for the M16A2 rifle, passed the combat water survival test, passed the Marine Corps physical fitness test, and have mastered the individual general military subjects and individual basic combat tasks taught in more than 460 academic hours of instruction. They have marched countless miles at Camp Pendleton and on this parade deck and have been trained, as are all Marines, as basic riflemen. In addition, due to an intensive physical training program, their strength and endurance have doubled since their arrival aboard the recruit depot. Today they are Marines, qualified to take their places in the ranks of the world's finest fighting organization. The platoons are now being aligned from left to right in order to get them into their exact positions for the parade. More than 1 million Marines have been trained here in the past 70 years and have departed San Diego for combat in conflicts around the world, including places whose names are immediately associated with Marine courage and dedication. Names such as Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Iwo Jima, Busan, Incheon, Quezon, Hue City, Lebanon, Grenada, Panama, and the liberation of Kuwait. This parade deck is rich in history and tradition, and no Marine trained here ever forgets its sights and sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. At the Command Officer Center March, all unit commanders and guidon bearers march to the front and center of the formation. Historically, it was at this point that commanding officers would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Following this, the unit leaders would face about, return to their units, and pass the information along to their Marines. Throughout our nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. Many who have helped shape our history join us here today. In keeping with the tradition, once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. We ask that those men and women in the audience that are former Marines please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in showing our appreciation for their dedicated service to Corps and country. Thank you. Please be seated. Now taking his position in the reviewing area is Lieutenant Colonel Edwin D. Miller, Commanding Officer, Support Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. He is accompanied by Lieutenant Colonel M.A. Einseidler, Commanding Officer, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. Lieutenant Colonel Miller enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1958. Lieutenant Colonel Miller's past duty assignments include 1st Force Recon Company, Republic of Vietnam, Alpha Company, 3rd Recon Battalion, 5th Marine Expeditionary Brigade, Camp Pendleton, California, and in the Republic of Vietnam, where he received a combat promotion to Staff Sergeant. Drill Instructor, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, where he was selected for the Warrant Officer Program. In 1976, Lieutenant Colonel Miller was selected as a limited duty officer and served as Operations Officer, Patrol Division, Military Police Company, and Military Police Battalion, 1st Marine Division, Camp Pendleton, California. Commanding Officer of the Joint Forces Corrections Facility, Okinawa, Japan. Operations Officer, Provost Marshal's Office, Camp Butler, Okinawa. 7th Fleet Shore Patrol Officer, Subic Bay, Republic of the Philippines. Executive Officer, Alpha Company, Marine Security Guard Battalion, Frankfurt, Germany. Provost Marshal, Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center, 29 Palms, California. Deputy Provost Marshal and Operations Officer, Facilities Security Department, Naval Forces, Philippines. Assistant to the Fleet Marine Force Pacific Inspector, Camp Smith, Hawaii. Provost Marshal, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, Southwest Asia during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Provost Marshal, Marine Corps Air Station, Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. Lieutenant Colonel Miller's personal decorations include the Silver Star Medal, Bronze Star Medal with Combat V and Gold Star in lieu of 2nd Award, Meritorious Service Medal, Joint Service Commendation Medal, Purple Heart with Gold Star in lieu of 2nd Award, and the Combat Action Ribbon. Lieutenant Colonel Miller is married to the former Kathy Bollinger from Atlanta, Georgia. The Commanding General, Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego would like to welcome the young Marines of El Paso, Texas, and the San Diego Council of the Navy League. Ladies and gentlemen, as the national flag passes directly in front of you, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Commanding Officer of Troops, Major T.A. Gerke, and the regimental staff. The Marine Corps Recruit Depot Band, conducted by Gunnery Sergeant Stephen R. Schweitzer, Drum Major Gunnery Sergeant Thomas G. Miller. The series commander for the 2009 series is Captain Stephen J. O'Reilly. Gunnery Sergeant Jimmy D. Mashburn in Platoon 2009. Sergeant Edward L. Nyquist in Platoon 2010. Staff Sergeant Darrell W. Basie and Platoon 2011. The series commander for the 2013 series is Captain Ronald F. Wooderman. Staff Sergeant George L. Roberts in Platoon 2013. Staff Sergeant Robert L. Mosley Sr. in Platoon 2014. Staff Sergeant Ramon F. Melendez in Platoon 2015. The Marine Corps' uniqueness and strength as an elite fighting force is directly attributable to the magnificent efforts of the drill instructors and company officers that train and supervise the recruits. The distinct qualities of spirit and discipline, the heart and soul of every Marine, have been developed, nurtured, and ingrained in the recruits through their observance and relationship with their drill instructors and officers. Recruit training is the very foundation of the Corps. Each year, recruit training provides thousands of America's finest young men and women with the basic knowledge and skills to function in a profession characterized by its own set of high values and tough standards. For the young men graduating today, the long, arduous journey of the last 12 weeks is but a small step into the future of the Marine Corps. As they prepare to fill the ranks of our Corps, they do so with unquestionable support for the high ideals and standards of the United States of America and the United States Marine Corps. Although Company E prepares for their final dismissal from boot camp today, their initial training is not over. After a well-deserved 10 days of leave, these young men will report for Marine combat training at the School of Infantry, Camp Pendleton, California, where they will continue to be trained to serve as an effective member of a Marine rifle squad in offensive and defensive combat. The intense initial training that every Marine undergoes is designed to instill a fundamental premise that is best described in the words of the 30th Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Carl E. Mundy, Jr. The sense that every Marine is a rifleman is at the heart of the ethos of the Corps. For all Marines, there is a constant, a sea anchor. Every Marine is a rifleman. 1993 commemorates part of the 50th anniversary of America's 4-year involvement in the Second World War. 50 years ago this week, elements of the 4th Raider Battalion overran the Japanese detachment at Tombay, New Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to introduce to you the Marines responsible for ensuring the success of the difficult transition required to become a Marine. We request that the audience hold their applause until all of these Marines have been introduced. If you would look towards the center and to the front of the reviewing stand, the company commander is Captain Daniel R. Masur from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The company first sergeant is First Sergeant Alonzo B. Sledge from Memphis, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would look to your left front, the series commander for the 2009 series is Captain Stephen J. O'Reilly from Wilmette, Illinois. The assistant series commander is First Lieutenant Richard W. Pauley from Santa Ynez, California. The series gunnery sergeant is Gunnery Sergeant Daniel R. Anderson from Tucson, Arizona. The senior drill instructor for Platoon 2009 is Gunnery Sergeant Jimmy D. Mashburn from Salem, Illinois. He is assisted by Gunnery Sergeant Bruce R. Wallace from Colorado Springs, Colorado, Gunnery Sergeant Robert L. Dunnigan from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Sergeant Carvin J. Thurman from Greenville, Mississippi. The senior drill instructor for Platoon 2010 is Sergeant Edward L. Nyquist from Wilcox, Arizona. He is assisted by Sergeant Samuel Rodriguez from Detroit, Michigan, Sergeant Eric O. Cruz from Oakland, California, and Sergeant Rodolfo Arrieta from Los Angeles, California. The senior drill instructor for Platoon 2011 is Staff Sergeant Darrell W. Basie from New Brunswick, New Jersey. He is assisted by Staff Sergeant Darren G. Yelenin from Munsing, Michigan, Sergeant Antonio D. Stewart from St. Louis, Missouri, and Sergeant Greg A. Lopez from Antonito, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would look to your right front, the series commander for the 2013 series is Captain Ronald F. Wooderman from Centerville, Virginia. The assistant series commander is First Lieutenant David M. Kingsbury from Lake City, Florida. The series gunnery sergeant is Gunnery Sergeant Gregory C. O'Connor, Jr. from East Keansburg, New Jersey. The senior drill instructor for Platoon 2013 is Staff Sergeant George L. Roberts from Cypress, Texas. He is assisted by Staff Sergeant Frank A. Pilgrim III from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sergeant Philip L. Clemens from Meridian, Mississippi, and Sergeant Joseph Salinas from Kingsburg, California. The senior drill instructor for Platoon 2014 is Staff Sergeant Robert L. Mosley Sr. from Penns Grove, New Jersey. He is assisted by Staff Sergeant John K. Bell from Honolulu, Hawaii, Staff Sergeant Tobin A. Dalen from Sadro-Woolley, Washington, and Sergeant Victor M. Camacho from Bronx, New York. The senior drill instructor for Platoon 2015 is Staff Sergeant Ramon F. Melendez from Hiyama, Puerto Rico. He is assisted by Staff Sergeant Jose G. Serrano from Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico, Sergeant Michael K. Miller from Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and Sergeant David J. Carter from Arlington, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marines of Company E. The Commandant of the Marine Corps has established 5 requirements for completion of recruit training. In satisfying the requirements, Company E has accomplished the following. In water survival qualification, 98.6% of Company E qualified at the basic level, and 1.4% qualified at more advanced levels. In rifle qualification, out of a possible score of 250 points, Company E's average score was 217, which is in the sharpshooter category. On their final written and practical examination, Company E's Marines scored an average of 94. On their final physical fitness test, out of a possible 300 points, Company E had an average score of 269. The final graduation criteria is the battalion commander's inspection, and all of Company E's Marines have clearly demonstrated the competence and confidence desired in new Marines. Although all Marines of Company E perform superbly, certain Marines clearly distinguish themselves as high shooters, most physically fit, and honor men. At this time, we would like to recognize those Marines who obtained the highest rifle qualification scores within their respective platoons. Rifle qualification consists of firing 50 rounds from ranges of 200, 300, and 500 meters for a possible score of 250 points. Please hold your applause until all of the high shooters have been introduced. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would look to your left front, the high shooter from Platoon 2009 is Private First Class Miguel A. Aguilar, Jr. from Santa Ana, California, with a score of 232 points. His primary marksmanship instructor was Staff Sergeant R.K. Fahey, and he was coached by Sergeant R.E. Griffith. The high shooter from Platoon 2010 is Private Joseph A. Nugent from Cushing, Oklahoma, with a score of 238 points. Private Nugent is also the series high shooter. His primary marksmanship instructor was Staff Sergeant C.E. Wilson, and he was coached by Sergeant S.J. Shipley. The high shooter from Platoon 2011 is Private First Class Michael A. Stone from Woodridge, Illinois, with a score of 234 points. His primary marksmanship instructor was Gunnery Sergeant W.A. Waller, and he was coached by Corporal E.L. Phelps. The high shooter from Platoon 2013 is Private Mark C. Jennings III from West Branch, Michigan, with a score of 241 points. His primary marksmanship instructor was Staff Sergeant T.A. Faulkner, and he was coached by Sergeant D.K. Cooper. The high shooter from Platoon 2014 is Private First Class Sean Levesque from Bluffdale, Utah, with a score of 243 points. Private First Class Levesque is also the company high shooter. His primary marksmanship instructor was Staff Sergeant S.J. Sterling, and he was coached by Corporal P.L. Wynn. The high shooter from Platoon 2015 is Private Jeffrey A. Geeman from Bourbonnais, Illinois, with a score of 236 points. His primary marksmanship instructor was Staff Sergeant F. James, and he was coached by Sergeant R.R. Legree. Ladies and gentlemen, the high shooters of Company E. The next group to be recognized are those men who have excelled in physical fitness. The Marine Corps Physical Fitness Test consists of 3 events: pull-ups, sit-ups, and a timed 3-mile run. It is possible to score 100 points in each event for a perfect score of 300 points. To achieve a perfect score, a Marine must accomplish 20 pull-ups, 80 sit-ups in 2 minutes, and a 3-mile run in 18 minutes or less. Please hold your applause until all of the most physically fit Marines have been introduced. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would look to your left front, the most physically fit Marine from Platoon 2009 is Private First Class Mark M. Tomasello from Gilroy, California. Private First Class Tomasello is also designated the company's most physically fit Marine by virtue of performing 31 pull-ups, 106 sit-ups, and a 3-mile run in 17 minutes and 50 seconds. The most physically fit Marine from Platoon 2010 is Private Larry R. Long from Cluis, New Mexico. The most physically fit Marine from Platoon 2011 is Private Terry D. Scornia from Carpentersville, Illinois. The most physically fit Marine from Platoon 2013 is Private Wendell P. Dickinson from Halton City, Texas. The most physically fit Marine from Platoon 2014 is Private First Class Ryan L. Darlin from Indianapolis, Indiana. The most physically fit Marine from Platoon 2015 is Private Clemente Hino Yosef IV from Beeville, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, the most physically fit Marines of Company E. The next portion of the ceremony will be the traditional function of retiring the guidons. The guidons have been carried by the platoons throughout recruit training and are being retired to symbolize the disbanding of platoons. All similar units in the Marine Corps carry such guidons, which identify the unit and are a source of pride to each individual member. Note that the honor of carrying these guidons is bestowed upon those Marines who displayed outstanding leadership qualities, motivation and enthusiasm, and were selected as the platoon honormen. The guidons will now be returned to the drill instructors. The men standing before you are the platoon honormen. The honorman is recognized as being the most outstanding Marine in his platoon. The honormen are recognized for demonstrating the highest qualities of leadership, discipline, academic proficiency, and military bearing. The platoon honormen compete for the title of Company and Series Honorman. The Company and Series Honormen are considered the top men graduating today and have demonstrated the highest potential for future leadership and responsibility in the Marine Corps. The Company Honorman is presented a certificate of commendation from the Commanding General. The Series Honorman is presented a certificate of commendation from the Commanding Officer of the Recruit Training Regiment. And platoon honormen are presented certificates of commendation from the Commanding Officer of 2nd Recruit Training Battalion. In addition, each honorman is presented a plaque from Leatherneck Magazine, a magazine for and about Marines. The Company Honorman will also receive a plaque from the Navy League in recognition of his being the top Marine graduating today. The honormen will be presented their plaques by the Commanding Officer of 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel M.A. Einseidler, assisted by the Battalion Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major G.J. Amos. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause until all of the honormen have been introduced.
Sir, Marines to receive awards are present.
The honorman from platoon 2009 is Private First Class Nathan C. Culver from Austin, Texas. He was recruited by Sergeant S.W. Stratton from Recruiting Substation, San Antonio, Texas. The honorman from platoon 2010 is Lance Corporal Jarl R. Smith from Florence, Oregon. He was recruited by Sergeant B.B. Kent from Recruiting Substation, Portland, Oregon. The honorman from platoon 2011 is Lance Corporal Peter A. Sia from Bolingbrook, Illinois. He was recruited by Sergeant R. Galandi from Recruiting Substation, Romeoville, Illinois. Lance Corporal Sia is also company honor man and the top man graduating today. The honorman from platoon 2013 is Private First Class William B. Webb from Coppell, Texas. He was recruited by Sergeant S. Roderick from Recruiting Substation, Dallas, Texas. The honorman from platoon 2014 is Lance Corporal Caleb P. Womack from Signal Mountain, Tennessee. He was recruited by Staff Sergeant R.L. Holman from Recruiting Substation, Houston, Texas. Lance Corporal Womack is also Series Honor Man and the top man graduating in his series. The honor man from platoon 2015 is Private First Class Norman D. Eady from Richton Park, Illinois. He was recruited by Sergeant J. Zilligan from Recruiting Substation, Chicago Heights, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, the honor men of Company E. The Marines Hymn is the oldest of the official songs of the armed services, with words dating back to the 19th century. The music was first performed in November 1859. Marines always get on their feet when it is sung or played. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marines Hymn. The senior drill instructors will now dismiss their platoons. This will be the last order the new Marines will receive from their drill instructors, and probably the most welcome order they have received while in boot camp.
the shore.
Side stroke, backstroke, swim to the shore.
I hit the beach and I'm ready for war.
I hit the beach and I'm ready for war.
M16 and cable by my side.
M16 and a cable on my side.
These are the tools which make men die.
These are the tools that make men die.
So pump it up.
Pump it up,
Pump it up.
pump it up.
Oh, run Leo.
Low right, Leo.
Lefty run Leo.
Lefty right, Leo.
Oh, right Leo.
Low right, Leo.
Left right Leo.
Left right, Leo.
Oh, right Leo.
Low right, Leo.
We love to double time.
We love to double time.
We do it all the time.
We do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
There we go.
Get louder.
Get louder.
Get prouder.
Get prouder.
Pump it up.
Pump it up.
The drill instructor, won't you come on out?
Drill instructor, won't you come on out?
Let us hear you scream and shout.
Let us hear you scream and shout.
I take it on the left foot.
Take it on the left foot.
A mighty, mighty left foot.
Mighty, mighty left foot.
A motivated left foot.
Motivated left foot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Take it.
Take it.
I got it.
We got it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
On the run.
On the run.
On the run.
On the run.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Pump it up.
Pump it up.
Pump it up.
Pump it up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Heavy on the left foot.
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 Now you're right, you know.
Go right to low.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Easy run.
Easy run.
Easy run.
Easy run.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Feeling fun.
Feeling fun.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Feeling fun.
Feeling fun.
I get some.
Get some.
I get some.
Get some.
PT.
Maintain.
PT.
Maintain.
I get some.
Get some.
I get some.
Get some.
PT.
Maintain.
All day.
All day.
All night.
All night.
All day.
All day.
All night.
All night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Feeling fun.
Feeling fun.
Ah.
Ah.
Ah. Ah. Ah. Ah. Mama. Mama motivated.
Motivated.
Dad, dad, dad. Dad, dedicated.
Dedicated.
Determinated.
Determinated.
I'll be the best.
Be the best.
I'll be the best.
Be the best.
I'll be the best.
Be the best.
Forget the rest.
Forget the rest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
PT every day.
PT every day.
I feel somebody the Marine Corps way.
Feel somebody the Marine Corps way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Push-ups.
Push-ups.
Pull-ups.
Pull-ups.
3 more.
3 more.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
1 more.
1 more.
No sweat.
No sweat.
2 more.
2 more.
No good.
No good.
3 more.
3 more.
Getting better.
Getting better.
4 more.
4 more.
Break a sweat.
Break a sweat.
5 more.
5 more.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
6 more.
6 more.
I gotta quit.
Gotta quit.
I gotta quit.
Gotta quit.
7 more.
7 more.
I'm passing out.
That's enough.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Marine Corps.
Marine
A
Corps.
boot camp.
Boot camp.
Marine Corps.
Marine
A
Corps.
boot camp.
Boot camp.
That's us.
That's us.
That's us.
That's us.
Marine Corps.
Marine Corps.
Boot camp.
Boot camp.
We're the best. shout.
Drill instructor, come on out.
Let us hear your motivating shout.
Let us hear your motivating shout.
Take it on the left foot.
Take it on the left foot.
Mighty, mighty left foot.
Mighty, mighty left foot.
Take it on the left foot.
Take it on the left foot.
Take it on the left.
Take it on the left.
Take it.